Am I the a-hole for not taking my father's minor children into consideration when I sued him for the inheritance he stole from me? My mom died when I, 22 female, was 10, and in her will she left me an inheritance of more than 100,000. My dad was left in charge of it, but after he remarried, him and his wife wanted to start a business together, and they used the money mom left me to open it. Dad and I argued about it at the time, but I was 15 and he kept insisting it was good for the whole family, and how it was better used to help everyone than being thrown away on random things when I turned 18. Our relationship was over before I moved out of his house at 18. I had made his and his wife's life miserable for stealing from me, and once I was out of there, I looked into how I could get that money back. I pressed charges against him for stealing from me and I sued him for the money. I had the support of my entire extended family on my maternal side and some on my paternal side, but I was told by others on the paternal side to consider my dad's other kids and the devastation that kind of financial upheaval could bring. I ignored those comments. I knew waiting would prevent me from ever getting the money, and I honestly did not care about his family's financial security after being stolen from. It was a long process and I needed to return to court a few times because he was just like, I can't pay, I don't have the money anymore. In the end, they were forced to give up the business, and it was sold to pay me the money back, and he had to pay additional out of his paycheck, which made him empty their savings, so his wages weren't garnished anymore. By the time I got it back, I was 100% done and past the point where we could ever reconcile. He made me fight so hard for what was legally mine, and he stole money mom left to support his new family. My relationship with some of Dad's side is not so strong anymore, and they think it was wrong that I focused only on what he did and not on the effects for the kids. I mostly don't talk to those family members now, but they ask me how I feel zero guilt for it when the kids are innocent and are still my siblings technically. That they would have thought I'd want better for them. I don't feel bad, I never have. But am I the a-hole for not taking the kids into consideration? Is that something I should have done? I feel like that's just really unfair to me and locks me into never being paid back. I don't think I owe those kids that. Now for the top comments. You didn't owe your father's new family your inheritance. That money was left to you for a reason, and he had no right to use it for anything else. It sucks that the kids are affected, but that's on him, not you. Totally this. They're his kids, and his theft is the cause of all of their problems, not OP. Well done for fighting back. If his father had stolen from a company, nobody would expect the company to consider his kids when they sued to recoup their money. Why should OP? Not the a-hole. Your inheritance was stolen. You were simply taking back what was rightfully yours, regardless of the ripple effects. Remember, he made the choice, not you. He did, and I feel like some of his family are unwilling to blame him. Instead, they want to blame me and make me responsible for a family I didn't create. Think of it in this term. Your inheritance from your mom was meant for you and only you, her flesh and blood. Your half-siblings may be innocent, but why should your mom's money be for their benefit when they are not related to your mom at all? I pointed that out, and I was told to think of it like I'm helping them because they're my flesh and blood, but I didn't make them or agree to any responsibility for them. Not the a-hole. Go ahead and cut off the relatives defending him as well. Instead of loaning him money themselves, they decided to hound you over money that was stolen from you. That's a step I've been working up to. At this point, I don't think they care for me at all. All they care about is Dad's family. Abusers try to justify their actions any way possible. Full stop. The end. You don't get to the right thing by doing nothing but the wrong thing. He saw you as a piggy bank rather than a daughter to work with, and now that his life has been turned upside from him turning your life upside down. Lo and behold, presto changeo, and poof, you're now the villain. He does the think of the children act while he didn't give a single cent about him taking care of you, his child. I mean this with all sincerity and compassion. Screw him. Next story. Am I the a-hole for reminding my brother's girlfriend that I own half of the house we live in, so she can't easily get rid of me? I'm 15 female, and have been living with my big brother, 25, for the last 3 years. Our dad died 3 years ago, and our mom abandoned us 7 years ago and is living abroad in Japan with her new family. I'm very independent and don't need a lot of attention and generally mind my own business. So I'm not a nuisance or a third wheel. I just need to be left alone. The house we live in belonged to our dad, and he left it equally to both of us. My brother's been with his girlfriend for a couple of years now. She's not bad, and I generally liked her. However, she wants to move in here, and they're talking about getting serious. I talked to my brother about how this would work, and he thinks it's too soon to discuss it and will sort out the details when it's more serious. Okay, so the other day she came to me and asked about my plans about uni and if I wanted to stay around, and I told her that yeah, I plan to stay home while going to uni. She suggested it might be good for my growth to go to a different city and get exposed to new experiences and people. Also suggested boarding school for next year. I smelled BS, so I asked her what it's really about, and she mentioned that they're getting serious and want to start a family soon, and I won't have a place here as they're growing their family. Talked about importance of nuclear family and all that nonsense. I asked why she's trying to get rid of me. I've done her no harm. And she said it isn't personal, and it's just that their family will deserve to have their own space without relatives living with them. I reminded her that I own half of this space, so she's delusional if she thinks she can just get rid of me. She initially said my brother has done enough for me already, and it's fine I do something for him, but also said let's not continue this discussion now. Later my brother told me I was unnecessarily aggressive, and instead should have come to him about what she said. I told him I didn't approach her. She was trying to manipulate me and to get rid of me. He thinks she was wrong to do that, but I was unnecessarily aggressive, and she didn't mean bad, and now I've damaged our relationship maybe permanently. Later he had a fight with her. He hasn't talked to me since then, 4 days now. She also hasn't been over since then. Am I the a-hole for being too aggressive to her? Not the a-hole. Isn't your brother also your legal guardian? Would she attempt to get rid of his child if he had one? You are currently a package deal, and she needs to get over it. You can be as aggressive as you want when someone who doesn't even live with you is attempting to remove you from your own home for their convenience. Yes, he is my legal guardian. Since your brother wasn't a part of this conversation between you and his girlfriend, how does he know you were communicating aggressively? Did he ask you to describe the conversation from your perspective, then reply that your wording was aggressive? Or did he just listen to his girlfriend's complaints and take her side without talking to you first? It sounds like your brother's girlfriend is trying to come between the two of you, and he is falling for it. As your guardian, he should be on your side and ensuring that your home is a safe shelter. Is there another adult family member, aunt, uncle, grandparent, or trusted friend of your father's that you could go to with your concerns if the girlfriend continues to try and steal your home or inheritance? I'll go out on a limb and say the girlfriend lied and twisted the conversation to her advantage, and the brother fell for it. I agree the girlfriend has dollar signs for ISIS in it, for the house and money, and OP is a roadblock. Brother needs to wake up as he has a gold digger for a girlfriend. Not the a-hole. All these things she was suggesting, like boarding school, who would be paying for that? Your inheritance? Brother? Because it doesn't sound like it would be her covering any costs. It's yours and your brother's house. Even if she did move in, it would still be yours and your brother's house. She would just be living there. I'd have been a lot more blunt if someone had the audacity to tell me to move out because they felt entitled to my inheritance and what I should be doing with it. In my opinion, the fact she hasn't been over and they haven't spoken is probably because she doubled down on what she said to you. Wouldn't surprise me if she's trying to force my brother to choose. You need to make it clear to your brother that girlfriends can change, but sisters are for life, and let him know that you did nothing wrong. The girlfriend approached you and implied that you were a burden living with your relative. If your brother is a good brother, he will wake up and realize that what his girlfriend did was absolutely disgraceful. You are a minor and a co-owner. The girlfriend had no right to say anything to you at all. It is your home that your father left you. You need to ask your brother that being your legal guardian, he's your parent figure at the moment. And if he had a kid before a girlfriend, then would he allow his girlfriend to dictate to his child about living arrangements? Last story. Am I the a-hole for shaming my dad for playing dumb about my relationship with his wife's kids and acting like he didn't put his happiness first? I, 17 male, don't know if I'm the bad guy for talking to my dad the way I did, so I'm coming on here to ask. See, my dad and I have a complicated relationship, but he's the only bio parent I have, and I don't have a lot of family willing to take me in or support me. At the same time, I don't think it's fair for my dad to play dumb like he did. When I was 3, my dad married Tina. Tina was a widow with 4 kids. 3 of them were older, 17, 19, and 20 at the time, and her youngest, Casper, was 4. When Tina and my dad got married, her 17-year-old moved in with their older siblings and chose not to live with us at all. Her older kids weren't happy about their mom getting remarried, so they really didn't treat me or dad like family. Casper and I got along fine when we were a lot younger. We were growing up in the same house, so we played together and spent time doing stuff like brothers. But it was always pretty obvious we weren't when Casper's older siblings were around. Casper saw them a few times a month. I saw them maybe twice or 3 times a year. Every time, they ignored me. At Christmas, they would show up with gifts for Casper and nothing for me. And when he was younger, Casper would try to share the gifts with me, but they'd tell him not to and they'd stop him from asking for my help opening them. Over time, Casper started spending more time with them, and then he started treating me like I did something wrong. Once that happened, he would brag about his siblings and the stuff they did with him and bought for him, and he enjoyed opening their gifts in front of me. Every Christmas, it was the same thing. My dad and Tina saw, but they said and did nothing about it. We spent time with Tina's family and not with anyone on Dad's side, so nobody saw a problem with it. But even when we did occasionally see someone from Dad's family, it wasn't like they cared. My dad wasn't close with his family, and they didn't seem to give a damn about me. I never knew anyone on my maternal side, but I always assumed they felt the same, since my mom hadn't wanted me when she was alive and died when I was 2 from drugs. When I was 12 and Casper was 13, he told me his siblings hated me and that they wished my mom had taken me with her when she died. That's how I found out Dad had told Tina and her older kids about my mom, and it was always clear how her kids felt about me, so it hurt to know Dad shared something so big with them, something they could use to hurt me. Casper told me they wanted me to go before they'd ever visit our house, so he wished for me to go away too. Casper graduated high school a few days ago. His older siblings were there, and afterward, everyone had a graduation dinner, which is when my dad and Tina gave a speech, and Casper interrupted when they called me his brother. He corrected them and said I wasn't his brother. His older siblings told Tina it was gross and disgusting to even pretend for half a second that I was anything to them, and how dare she and Dad ruin Casper's graduation. My dad acted surprised, and it ticked me off. He said something like he thought Casper and I were as thick as thieves. I got mad and told Dad that was BS, that he saw me being left out every single time Tina's kids were around, how Casper pulled away from me and bragged about the stuff he did with his siblings and the gifts they gave him. I said he was not so dumb that he wouldn't notice when it happened right in front of him. I told him he didn't get to play dumb now because it was being outed so publicly. Dad was like, "You should have told me," which I did many times, and that he was only thinking of my happiness. I told him it was BS and he put his happiness first, because no kid would be happy being ignored most of the time and treated like crap during certain times. I left the dinner and things continued without me. Tina came to my room after she got back with Dad and she told me to apologize, because I really upset Dad when I shamed him in front of everyone like that. Then Dad approached me after a couple of days and he was like, "Why would you talk to me that way? You know I love you and had no idea you felt unwanted." I told him he didn't want to know about it, but it's fine, and I'll be out of his hair this time next year, so just leave me alone. Dad left and Tina came up a few minutes later and said Dad still needed that apology. Am I the a-hole? I don't even care about fixing things. I just want to keep my head down and get out. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Never ever apologize. Some grudges are meant to be kept. I hate when they play the victim to get you to apologize for getting mad, instead of taking responsibility for what they did to make you mad. Is it a grudge, or am I accurately remembering my treatment at They're in Your Hands and refusing to pretend they or you have rehabilitated? And tell Tina you'll apologize for one day of honesty when she apologizes for raising 4 abusive a-holes and never stopping them. The insane part is how Tina's kids are allowed to act, and they're in their late 30s now. Were they seriously not spoken to for their actions at dinner at all? Any neutral observers to that dinner, if what you say is factual, would be shocked, appalled, and wonder if your entire family is operating in some alternate reality. If I was a friend of one of Tina's kids, knew they didn't like you, and thought you were the problem, I would still be repulsed if they interrupted a speech like that to just say he's not a brother. You're a freaking Cinderella kid. Sorry about that. They weren't and they never are. Everyone likes to ignore the fact they bring gifts for others but not me, or that they showered Casper in them and gave me 0, or how they wouldn't even speak to me. Like anytime one of them was asked to tell me something, they'd say no. The only time they spoke to me was when they were being pricks to my face, but that was rare. They preferred to let Casper tell me how they felt. Shame on your dad and Tina for allowing this to happen for so long. Older siblings can be a very powerful influence. If he was getting that from his brothers all the time, and your dad and Tina did nothing, then you never stood a chance with him. I hope someday Casper can see how much of a prick he's been for no reason at all, and you two can have some sort of reconciliation. May not be what you want, but everyone could use some family. I have no expectations for Casper to turn around and feel any different. I think he's absorbed the mindset his siblings have about me. Now he enjoys seeing me hurt and upset. He got joy out of making me feel like I was alone and so freaking small. A couple of times I cried in front of him and I knew he was happy and felt no guilt. So I think expecting a reconciliation would be a waste of my heart at this point. I blame your dad. He had no business getting married to someone whose kids was against the marriage. The stepkids do not have to accept you, but at least they should be cordial to you. Same. No matter who else is involved in this, he was the only parent I had really, and he had no other kids, so giving me a good life should have been made sure.